What you are looking at is the impressive several thousand-foot-high steep walls which were created by one of the planet's largest explosive volcanic eruptions of the Holocene epoch. This steep rim marks the boundary of a massive caldera that occurs at the Crater Lake volcano in Oregon. Calderas like this exist in a multitude of locations around the planet, yet few people think of these impressive features as existing within California. Despite this, per a statement by the U.S. Geological Survey, the state of California contains 6 calderas which all formed in the last 10 million years. The most recent of these calderas to form can be found at a shield volcano in the Cascade Range, which is one of the largest volcanoes on the planet in terms of area covered in square miles. What I am referring to is the Medicine Lake volcano, which last erupted around 950 years ago. Like many large shield volcanoes, it contains a massive albeit well-eroded depression in the ground referred to as a caldera. This caldera is most pronounced on its southern section, where a ridge towers 800 feet above the surrounding landscape, representing a section of its caldera rim. While Medicine Lake has produced explosive eruptions around 1,000 years ago which produced rhyolite lava flows along with some obsidian, and at least one VEI-5 and one VEI-6 eruption 1.006 and 0.171 million years ago, none of these explosive eruptions were quite large enough to have created this volcano's 7.2 mile long and 4.5 mile wide caldera. As, just like Kilauea's caldera in Hawaii, the caldera instead formed through repeated large-volume primarily effusive flank eruptions which cause magma to drain away and erupt at a distant location, causing repeated subsidence. Among California's calderas, the one at Medicine Lake is the only example to have formed through effusive caldera collapse, as the rest formed through highly explosive volcanic eruptions. One such highly explosive eruption occurred east of Mammoth Mountain a mere 760,000 years ago at the Long Valley Caldera supervolcano, with an intensity of 28 Mount St. Helens-like eruptions going simultaneously for 6 full days. This eruption ejected 600 cubic kilometers of tephra in a time span of only 6 days, causing several hundred feet thick of ash to fall close to the eruption center, while causing pyroclastic flows to scorch the landscape in some places to a distance of more than 65 miles away. As a result of this climactic eruption, a large swath of ground covering 200 square miles dropped by as much as 3,000 feet, creating the state's largest caldera, which measures 20.3 miles long. The next youngest caldera formed 2.9 million years ago at a now extinct volcano with a similar name to a more famous volcano, Mount St. Helena. What was an ancient stratovolcano collapsed in a massive eruption, probably on the magnitude of a mid-end VEI-6, ejecting at least 40 cubic kilometers of tephra. Clear Lake, Mount St. Helena, and the next volcano on this list, the Cup and Saucer Volcanic Field, were all part of a chain of volcanoes which moved to the northwest as time progressed, with Clear Lake being the only still active volcano. The Cup and Saucer Volcanic Field contained 2 large overlapping calderas, with the smaller one forming 4.8 million years ago and the larger one forming 5.2 million years ago. Both eruptions likely were low-end VEI-6, and the calderas they formed are quite prominent in the landscape, as there is a figurative bite taken out of the local mountainside. The 6th caldera formed approximately 50 miles northwest of what is now the Long Valley supervolcano 9.5 million years ago. Known as the Little Walker Caldera, it formed in an eruption about twice the size of the 1991 eruption of Mount Pinatubo in the Philippines. Today, its caldera rim is still weakly visible on sections of its outline. Thanks for watching. If you would like to request a specific topic, please leave a comment below. Additionally, I would like to thank this channel's patrons on Patreon and channel members on YouTube.